Okay, it's 5:30. I'm going to call the public power hour to order. We don't have anyone signed up. We did have somebody signed up, and they had to reschedule due to a sickness, so we'll keep it on for the next 15 minutes in case anybody walks in that wants to bring something to our attention.
I appreciate it.
We got some DOT challenges. We're finding out more and more.
I was trying to get down here earlier, but I was running a little late trying to wash dishes.
I need you to state your name and address for the record.
Chris Herndon, and 2011 Pisgah Road, North Augusta, South Carolina, 29841. I appreciate y'all taking the time. So it dawned on me earlier, and I thought about sending an email, but I figured I just want to come down here and put it on the record. I know that y'all are working with DOT. Another option kind of hit me as I was riding around Atlanta was if we maybe stop signs at White Bark, Knob Cone, and Wells. That might slow some of that traffic down. At the same time, not only would it slow down traffic, it also has the potential, as the city continues to grow, to kind of separate and segregate those neighborhoods from the school zone, from the housing. That was it.
Yeah, the issue is it's not just stop lights, it's stop signs are also. And DOT is just, it's Tom Zeeser hits his head against the wall pretty regularly. But I hear you. We hadn't forgotten about it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I just want to make sure hopefully we can just stay on DOT and they'll come around to it. So.
Well, we just need a big hammer. But we appreciate you sharing.
You know, they say if you get a bigger hammer, it usually fixes the problem, Mayor.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Appreciate you sharing, Chris.
I appreciate it. I'm a
Thank you, brother. Okay.
Hey, Britton, do you think Bill Hickson might be able to help us a little bit with that, or is that more of a city thing versus? Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, I know. Right.
Good evening. It's great to see everybody. I'd like to call the City of North Augusta regular City Council meeting for December the 4th, 2023 to order. You're welcome to join me in prayer. Dear God, as we move into this holiday season, I ask that you'll be with each of these council members as we do the work of the city. I ask that you'll give each of us discernment, open hearts and ears as we strive to honor you in our decisions. Amen. If able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Item 3, roll call, starting from my left.
Eric Presnell.
David McGee.
Pat Carpenter.
Britton Williams.
Jennifer McCauley.
David Buck.
Kevin Toole.
Great. Item 4, approval of minutes. Are there any corrections, deletions, or additions to the City Council meeting minutes of November the 20th, 2023, or the study session minutes of November the 27th, 2023? Okay, hearing none, they stand approved as distributed. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Tyler Roush, come up, meet me up front, young man. This is Tyler. He is with our Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Department. He's the employee of the quarter. Let me tell you a little bit about this young man. Tyler is a program coordinator who organizes our volleyball, basketball, and baseball programs for the city, and those are very, very big and popular. His willingness to adjust to weekend and event hours to make sure youth in the community have organized opportunities to play and learn different sports is very often overlooked. He takes pride in creating organized events in a competitive learning atmosphere. He moved here from West Virginia to take this position, which is fantastic, and has settled in North Augusta. You have animals. You have a cat. What's your cat's name?
Nora.
Nora. Okay, good. How's Nora like in North Augusta?
She likes it.
She likes it. Okay, good for Nora. Parks and Recreation Tourism is glad to have Tyler on staff, and our program and the kids in his programs are better because of it. And Tyler, what's nice about this is you were not nominated by a single individual. This was the group at Parks and Recreation. So that says you're making an impact, and a lot of people are seeing it. So we have a plaque that says North Augusta, South Carolina's Riverfront, Employee of the Quarter awarded to Tyler Roush, October through December 2023. So congratulations. Let's give him a round of applause. Okay, item 6, boards, this is new business, boards and commissions, appointments, recommendations by the mayor. So we actually have four folks who we are going to be appointing for the first time to a number of different boards and commissions. And I'd like to take a little bit of time, and I'm going to ask each of them just to stand up, because I want to tell you a little bit about them. I think it's important for council, but also for citizens to be able to know and see who is going to be involved here. So, let's see, where do I want to start first? Okay. All right, I'm going to ask Mr. London Smith if he would stand up. London is going to be replacing Wesley Summers on our BZA, which is Board Zoning and Appeals. And I want to tell you a little bit about London. First of all, he currently is employed with Savannah River Nuclear Solutions as a senior auditor. He has a business degree from Augusta University, He has been an internal auditor at Augusta University in the past. He's also been an accountant at the University of Georgia. Not only does he have his bachelor's degree in accounting, he also has a master's degree in public administration. And first opportunity to meet London was back at our very first Meet the Mayor meeting. Pat, David, some of y'all were there at Somerville Park. And London he and his wife live right across from new public safety headquarters. So, needless to say, London shared his concerns to us, and he just did everything the right way. He had a number of suggestions and recommendations that we took, and we talked, and I've just been so impressed by just how he handles his business and what he does. And so, London, what I think the benefit for the BZA is that's something that we need people who, he's a regular citizen, he's not on any other groups. So, but what that position is important is being an auditor, he understands the structure of working within limits. And with the BZA, as a quasi-judicial branch, there's just rules that they have to follow objectively to look at making decisions. And I just think London will do a fantastic job. So, London, excited to have you on board, young man, and really appreciate your willingness to serve, okay? All right, that's London. All right. Next person is, let's see, who don't want to embarrass out here. No, I'm just Lisa Christie. Lisa, let me tell you about Lisa. Lisa owns let me go back before I tell about Lisa. There are two positions that will not be reappointing, Lynn Carter and Tim Key. Both Lynn and Tim have served over 20 years, had great conversations with them. They have, trust me, they feel like they have served and done their bit. They're ready for something different. But Lisa owns 5 Pelican Snowball franchises, including the one in North Augusta. She also owns Christie's Coffee Company, which is a drive-through here in North Augusta. She's a realtor licensed in both Georgia and South Carolina. She and her husband attend True North and are active on the worship team and serves in the nursery. One of the things I like about that Lisa shared with me, she goes, I'm passionate about small businesses and have mentored many local small businesses here and throughout the CSRA. We enjoy the amazing sense of community that comes with living in North Augusta, and we love watching North Augusta evolve and grow. And again, Lisa, I think having a business background, involvement in the community on the Planning Commission will be very positive. So Lisa, thank you very much. The next person is Miss Erin Slade. Erin is a mortgage originator for Silverton Mortgage. She has a banking mortgage background with several local firms. She's a graduate of Leadership North Augusta in 2016, and their class project was the Bark Park. So I like the fact that, and this was one of the things when I was talking to Christine Crawford, who's our chair of the Planning Commission, she said that it would be helpful. She likes folks knowing that they're folks who have sat on other boards, so they kind of understand parliamentary procedure and how things work. So Aaron has been on a number of boards, and I think that will be very positive. Tim Key, who is coming off that, is a mortgage originator. So it's nice to have one position of skilled taking the place, replacing another one. So again, I think she brings a lot to it. And what I want to share, her comments, I thought was great, is she says, my desire to be part of the community stems from my hometown in Duluth, Minnesota, where you can still go today and feel like you're in a small town, but have all the amenities of a big city. They did a good job to manage their growth over the years, which will be very important for us, and are a great example of planning, zoning, and turning blighted areas into high-use destinations of town now. Love the feeling you can still feel a small town to this day. So, again, I think she'll just bring a ton to the Planning Commission, and we're real excited about that. So thank you for that. And the last gentleman is Mr. Joe Thomas. Joe, just stand up, sir. Now, Nan Burns has served, probably 16 years on the Parks, Recreation Advisory Tourism Commission. I reached out to Nan, and she said, listen, Britton, I've enjoyed it, but if you've got someone that wants to be involved, love to have another, someone else to, take over. So Joe was born and raised in North Augusta. He has served in many capacities over the last 50 years. He has served with Parks and Rec as a scorekeeper, coach, and volunteer. Pat, you know Ms. Thomas, don't you? He was voted in 1986 Rookie of the Year volunteer for Belvedere Fire Department. He is the pastor of Mountain Lebanon Baptist Church and volunteers with the Golden Harvest Food Bank, where he is the mobile distributor for all of McCormick, Edgefield, and Aiken County. He believes that, as I love this, he believes as a loving community through Parks and Rec, each of us can help the next boy or girl enhance their skills and build confidence through the many offerings of the city. Joseph, good to have you on board, sir. Thank you for your willingness to serve. I just wanted to share this because it's kind of been on my mind. I've been very clear, and this council has been very clear in our appointments over the last 2.5 years. And there's two things that we're always looking for. One is, does an individual bring value, a skill, or background that will allow them to be effective in the role? And the second thing, are they wanting to serve and be involved in making our city better? One of the things I've heard over the last couple of years is about experience. And I think experience can be a positive factor. There's no doubt about it. And we have reappointed some folks who have been on commissions and boards for quite a while. But when I hear the argument about experience, it kind of reminds me about when I was on planning commission. We wanted to do term limits. And we felt at that time we needed to do that. Council was not open to that, so that kind of didn't go anywhere. But there was a number of folks who talked about the importance of that. And I think it's interesting. Somewhere between 15 to 25 years ago, former Mayor Lark Jones appointed, I'm going to give you some folks he appointed: Wes Summers, Richard Fletcher, Joanne Mackey, Larry Watts, Tim Key, just to name a few. These citizens of boards and commissions, guess what none of them had when they were appointed? Experience. But Mayor Jones saw that they brought a value, a skill, or a background that would allow them to be effective. They all wanted to serve to make the city better. And every one of those individuals has helped move our city forward over the last 15 to 25 years. So I guess what I'm saying is, those reasons I explained why we are reappointing, why we're appointing people, I just think it's important as we move forward in this community that we give people opportunities. No matter what their age is, no matter what they look like, we need to give people opportunities. That's what this council's done the last 2.5 years, and we're going to continue doing it for at least the next 1.5 years. So I'm excited about all 4 of you appointees. Thank you very much. I know you're for North Augusta, and we're excited. So with that being said, I'd like to ask council for a motion to approve the listed of appointees, which are, I'll read them out: Board of Zoning Appeals, London Smith; Planning Commission, Lisa Christie; Planning Commission, Aaron Slade; and Parks, Recreation, Tourism Advisory Committee, Joe Thomas. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Presnell, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, that's Mr. Buck. I will ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Very good. Thank y'all. Y'all can stay, you can go home, either way. All right, zipping right along here. Okay. Item 7. Planning and Development. Ordinance number 2023-32, adopting the North Augusta Development Code, Chapter 18 of the City of North Augusta, South Carolina Code of Ordinances, providing for new zoning and land development regulations and updating the citywide zoning map accordingly. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading? Ms. Carpenter, is there a second?
Second.
All right, Ms. McCauley, thank you. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
Mr. Mayor and Council, this has been an ongoing project for a number of years with our outside contractors to get us to this point now for the development code. We brought a staff recommendation to the City Council. You'd received some input from a number of the home builders in the area. Council decided to send this back to Planning Commission for further review with some of their suggestions. My understanding is several, but not all, of those recommendations have been implemented into the development code as was laid out by Tommy during the study session. And so now we're at a point where, having been reviewed now twice by the Planning Commission, it is back to the City Council for consideration. So We can certainly continue to take inputs on this and take it back and forth, but our staff recommendation at this point in time is to move forward with the development code in its current form. And Tommy and I are here to answer any of your questions if you have any.
If there are not any questions for Jim or Tommy, I want to ask, are there any citizen comments? If so, come on down, but we all know you, but if you would, state your name and address for the record, please, sir.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Jason Winkter, 17578 Atomic Road, Aiken, South Carolina, 29803.
Great.
I brought just a few of my notes. If you don't mind, I'm going to go. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go back through, you all have our comments from before and then our summary comments. And our main concern really is it just comes down to cost, right? The buyer pool and what they can afford, is whatever the price range, $250 to $500. All right. We're concerned about adding cost to that. Is what it comes down to. So do you want now what somebody could have bought a $350,000 house at, now it's 1,800 square feet. The more cost we put on it, and now they're looking at a 1,500 square foot house. I mean, it affects what the buyers can purchase. We as builders and developers can't keep upping our sales price. I mean, there's a certain limit where buyers just say, I can't. They're cut off, and that's our concern. A lot of the items that we brought up they're not structural. They don't affect the health, safety, welfare. They're aesthetic, and we're going to build the house the same way. We're going to build the roads the same way. We're going to put the sewer lines in the same way. None of that, what we brought to y'all's attention, affects any of those on how we build a neighborhood. It's all these are just pure additional cost to the buyer, and that's our concern. I mean, that's it's not. We used to call it being able to build affordable housing. Well, affordable is a bad term to use, because everybody thinks affordable is, well, that's government assisted. Well, it's not. It's what the buyers can afford. Now we call it attainable housing, and that term isn't really great. It's just being able to build a house to that big area of the buying public, and it's just, these affect it. We can't control the supply chain. I mean, what manufacturers, the prices they put on their goods, we can't control that. We got no input on that. We can't control mortgage rates. So the things we can control, we try to, and that's why we're here in front of y'all, and that's why we've sent you comments, because we feel like, again, none of what we submitted affects the quality of the house that gets built. It's all pure additional cost, and we look for ways to control that. I mean, if we the way we do control it is we give less opportunity for the buyers for finishes. Before they might have had a lot of hardwood floors, now they get a lot more carpet. Before they might have had a lot of granite countertops, now they get a lot more laminate. We've got to figure out ways to offset some of these price increases, and so that's, those are the ways we do it. So again, I'm not going to go back through. You have our comments. We just hope you all will consider some of those. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens? Tiffany, you good? Okay. All right. Any council discussion?
Yeah, I've just got a couple of comments, and I, tend to agree with several points that Jason made. I think we all probably tend to agree that we want to create as affordable housing, whatever the proper term is for that. And I do think that there are some things I'll say before I say any of it. I'm going to vote for the ordinance. I think it's a significant upgrade for where it's been. But I think looking forward, seeing this as a living document and some things that we do need to look at, one of the recommendations I think that they brought up was for us to consider a planned residential district. And I do think that is something that I would like to see the Planning Commission kind of study and come back maybe with some options on that, because I do think that it would give us some control, especially as you look at like an R5 zoning district, the ability for us to have a little more control of what the end product is on that, I think would be beneficial. You know, the more I've thought about the 50-foot buffers against the wetlands, I think it's something we ought to give some more thought to. I think when I initially read this, I was thinking that the lots were included in that. I've come to find out subsequently that they're not. When you look on some topographically more challenging projects, I mean, that's a pretty significant amount of land that would have a pretty significant increase. So whether we look at maybe doing an average of 50 feet at certain points to give some variances, and I know you can always get a variance on that if there's a situation that allows, but maybe just some coded softening of that to a degree is something that I would like to see us continue to study. And as a banker, and I know Kelly's got some pushback on this, which I don't necessarily understand the history of it, but I understand where it's coming from. I do think that we ought to give some thought on softening the need for a letter of credit and allowing for more bonds. Letters of credit, one, they're going to become more difficult to get because banks, it's just going to become more difficult for the builders to get, more expensive for the builders to get from the banks. It's a cumbersome process for everybody. It's a cumbersome process for the city to keep up with them. I guess a bond would probably have to be kept up with as well. But, you know, those are some things that I do think could potentially would be relatively easy fixes that could be win-wins for the city and the builders that we ought to give some thought to. Don't know that it needs to be sent back to the Planning Commission for the back and forth in this iteration of it. But I would like to see some movement, you know, really specifically on the planned residential district. I think that's really something that we ought to give a lot of thought to. So as a group, I would like for us to send that to the Planning Commission to consider, and, you know, with all the other stuff we've asked them to consider, but, you know, to prioritize that where it's appropriate to consider bringing that back to us.
That's a valid point. Anybody else?
Well, I just want to ask Jason, is there anything I know you talked to us at the beginning. Anything just specific that this is going to cause so much?
A whole list of.
Well, yeah,
He's
but I
giving
mean,
us, yeah,
just,
Ms. Carpenter, I appreciate the comment. I mean, I would just refer back to the, I don't know, probably 2 pages where we tried to summarize all from the builder standpoint, builder developer, the Home Builders Association, our concerns, and then some of our solutions. Now, the solutions may not be fantastic, but we didn't want to just come up here and say, these are the problems, and then when you ask for solutions, or Tommy asked for solutions, we just don't have anything. I mean, we tried to get at least some talking points. So, I mean, I don't have anything specific. Kevin's touched on a couple great ones, but I'd really just refer back to, you know, the list I think that you all got, I don't know, a couple months ago.
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I have trouble with, and Jason and Danny, I mean, I think in North Augusta, we have our high-end housing, custom neighborhoods, and then we have attainable, affordable, whatever you want to call them. You know, and again, I know it's a business model. I know y'all got to make money as developers and builders, but I just feel like if we do too much of that, we're going to lose the Lyndhurst, the Hammond Hills. You know, a lot of these new developments have the smallest lots, the smallest yards, you know, in my opinion, you know, or either, you know, Hammond's Ferry is a different beast altogether, but then, you know, in River North, those are bigger lots. But there's nothing in between. And, you know, that's something, I mean, I know y'all got to make money and your business model works a certain way, but I just feel like if we give in too much, then everything will just be that way. But personally, I feel like there's just not enough of the, I guess, median, middle housing, in my opinion. I mean, I look at a lot of the new neighborhoods going up, and a lot of them have the same floor plan, maybe 4 or 5, then they flip this, flip that. But, you know, this is the future of our city, too. You know, we're kind of deciding a little bit with this as to what we want this to look like. But I do feel like, you know, with everything going on now, I mean, you drive through a lot of neighborhoods, and there's not a lot of difference. I mean, you go through Hammond Hills, you go through Lyndhurst, you go through some of the older neighborhoods. I mean, there's no two that look the same. And I just, you know, And I understand, like I said, y'all have a business model they've got to stick by. And I just feel like with what the staff has recommended, I've sat with Tommy and I think we talked an hour or two on a lot of these issues. I feel like, you know, what they've put in is a step in the right direction. Is it perfect? Probably not, but I do believe it is a step in the right direction.
I just want to say, I want to thank Tiffany, I want to thank Jason, Danny, you know, just so people do know, you know, we actually took 4 of the items, I'm pretty sure at least, that we did take your changes. Y'all have done it the right way. I'll just be real frank with you. I really wish across the board, there are a lot of other areas and ways that doesn't mean we all agree to disagree. But I think this showed how y'all went about this process, allowed us to listen. You made us have to think and reconsider, send it back to the Planning Commission. That normally ain't going to happen. Gave them second chance. I think Kevin's comment, and I think part of what this council's tried to realize is, you know, we don't have to vote on an ordinance and never change it for 40 years. We're dealing with that now. You know, it can be a living document, okay? Just like when we had the food trucks were added a couple of years ago, and we did adjust this today. So I think we can, I think, Kevin, your point is, I think getting the Planning Commission to look at the PRD makes sense. So there are things we can add to it, but it is time for us to move forward from 2007 to get a new development code. And I thank you for your efforts, I really do. And we have listened, but we're going to have to vote on what we think is the best for us at this point moving forward. So with that being said, if there's no more council discussion, I'm going to ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. First reading. Thank you very much. Okay, item 8, Planning Development, ordinance number 2023-33 to amend the zoning map of the city of North Augusta, South Carolina by rezoning plus or minus .29 acres of land owned by Charlie Britt, Aiken County tax parcel number 006-18-10-003 from R7 small lot single family residential to R5 mixed residential. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading? Mr. Presnell, is there a second? Mr. Toole, thank you. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mr. Clifford or Tommy?
Mr. Mayor and Council, this is a zoning action, so this is an ordinance, so it requires 2 readings, but essentially this is for a small lot that's in the downtown corridor, go from R7 to R5. My understanding is that the owner of the property is looking to put multiple townhomes on the property there, although I'm not sure we've received the full packet, if you will. So the zoning action usually predates having an actual set of building plans that are approved. And so I've got Tommy here as well to answer any questions if you all have them, but it's what we would consider a routine zoning action.
Let me just state that we did, everybody on council received an email from a citizen. We will put that into the minutes. We do not read emails or messages without the person being here, but that will be put in the minutes, and council all has that. So at this point, I will open it up for any citizen comments. Any council discussion? Okay. Hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, item 9, administration, resolution number 2023-48, authorizing funding allocation recommendations of the Accommodations Tax Advisory Committee for the disbursement of revenues from the accommodation tax year 2022 to 2023. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Ms. McCauley, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Buck, thank you. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
Mr. Mayor, this is something that we talked about extensively at the study session as far as which organizations are competing for and been awarded or recommended awarded for this ATAX money. And then also tell council and also for our citizens at home, there have been some questions about, well, how does ATAX actually, get distributed, and what are the rules associated with that? And so really what I look at from the staff perspective are really two things. One is you've got South Carolina statute, which is certainly readily accessible to any citizen that lays out what the state rules for accommodations tax are. And then also the Municipal Association of South Carolina has a very handy accommodations tax rule book, if you will, online, and an executive summary of these are the kinds of activities that can be funded with ATAX, and the rules listed therein, which includes the requirement for a committee to be able to do disbursements of funding up to at least $50,000.
And we actually have our own handbook too.
Absolutely. So with that, Mr. Mayor and Council, I have no other comments, but Jamie and I are prepared to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Any citizen comments? Any council discussion? One thing I am going to say, I think Jim made a good point. You can look at our City of North Augusta State Accommodation Tax Funding Program. This is, and one of the, I think is a very important for people is in this book on page 5 of 6, it talks about the accountability of this. What we're proving, no money is going to anyone today, okay? They have to do the project, and then it's a very extensive steps of how they have to document, return in council checks, receipts, invoices. Our city clerk reviews that within what the code is. They have to submit photos of the project, so it's very extensive. And we have had situations in the past, I'll tell you, where a group was given some money, and some of what they did not fit within it, so we were not able to do it. So these are all nonprofits. There's no private entities. And so there is a very strict accountability, and we go, and we have, I do just want to commend the ATAX Advisory Committee. I'd like to just mention who those individuals are, because that again is, as Jim said, is told by the state based on the amount that we have. John Felike chairs it from Lookaway Inn. We have Greg Greenawalt from Crown Plaza. We have Ushery from Snowcap, Marianne Bigger from Arts and Heritage, John Dawkins, owner of Chick-fil-A, Brandon Green with Augusta Green Jacks, and Tricia Garcia, Holiday Inn Express. So those are all folks appointed by this council, and I think they have done a really nice job every year with that. So with that being said, I'm going to ask for a vote. All in favor? That is unanimous. Very good. Thank you. We are zipping right along. Item 10, resolution number 2023-49, authorizing the budget and funding source for the Clay Street Booster Pump Station Upgrade Project. We have a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Mr. McCauley, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Buck, thank you. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
Just as a reminder for council, this is something we had in a study session to discuss the gap between the low bid versus the overall budget that was significantly higher. So we went and crunched the numbers, and Linda Williamson did a great job with our bond folks, and ultimately made a recommendation for looking at 3 separate and distinct funding sources for this project. One is the $500,000 grant that we've received through the Rural Infrastructure Authority. Another is the funds associated with the City Council action to send a little over $3 million under ARPA request number 2 for this project. And lastly, now adding $1.54 million out of the utility fund, City Construction Utility Fund, for funding for this. And so ultimately what the council will be doing is setting an overall budget of $4,677,770 for the construction. Allows us to enter into a contract with Republic Contracting, which was a low bid. Allows us to use those 3 separate and distinct funding sources, and then to move forward with that action. And if we have a positive vote tonight from council, we'll immediately move into contracting for Republic to get this moving. So subject to any questions that you have, I'll be ready to answer them.
Any citizen comments? Any council discussion? Well, I've been doing this every one. I'm going to continue one more time. Just for citizens, I think it's important, if you aren't listening to our study sessions, a big piece of this funding, as Ms. Clifford mentioned, was ARPA. And just so folks can know, I think it's very important, we got about $11.8 million from ARPA. That's federal money. And we have used roughly, I'm going to say 75% of that have gone to services such as wastewater interceptor, Clay Street pump station, public safety air and light truck, tanker truck and equipment, the Greenway Bridge, sewer and water improvements to Mealing Track and Pole Branch. I will tell you, there are municipalities around us that have used ARPA money, quite frankly, in ways I don't think they probably should. Our city administration and director of finance have been very careful and conservative in making sure that we are being as diligent as possible. And the majority of this money, along with grants and other funding mechanisms, being used for hardcore infrastructure to help citizens. You may not see a lot of it because it's underground, but it is important. So it does help with service. So I just want citizens to understand that this Clay Street, it's kind of like the heart, and we've got to get it fixed. And we have been very diligent in, I think, using these funds the right way. So with that being said, I will ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, any administrative reports, sir?
I have none at this time, Mr. Mayor.
All right. This is item 12, presentations, communications, recognition of visitors. This is the time when citizens can speak to council about anything not on this agenda that we just went through. So if something's on your mind, this is an opportunity for you if you'd like to come in front of council. Okay. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Tiffany Heitzman, 4065 Stowe Drive in Grovetown, Georgia, 30813. I just want to say on behalf of the Home Builders Association, thank you to each of you for letting us have the opportunity to speak and share our knowledge and our comments and suggestions. We really appreciate Jim and Tommy for meeting with us on several occasions and working with us. We really do, as an industry and association, want to be a part of the solution, not adding to more, and we just want to provide everyone the opportunity to own a home. So thank you all. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council, for giving us the opportunity. And again, we're always here to help and be a part of the solution, and we want to serve in any way that we can, because several of them live here and we build here, and so we want to do our part as well. So just wanted to say thank y'all.
Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate it. Okay, I've got a number of things. So does anybody on council have any comments under council comments before I go through my litany? And maybe this has kind of got me why I responded on every resolution and ordinance. I got thrown for a loop this past weekend. I feel like I want to share about it. I had someone over the weekend. I ran to them at the grocery store, and they caught me off guard because they said they read. I'm sort of laughing. They read on social media where we created a bunch of new departments, and we're making our local government bloated like the federal government and increasing expenses. And I really didn't understand what they're talking about. Then we talked further. So let me be real clear, because this is the kind of incorrect information which is just plain non-truth. It gets spread, and citizens don't know any better get upset. We rename Parks, Recreation, and Tourism, okay, to Parks and Recreation, because we decided tourism needed to be by itself. So yes, we do have one new department per se, but it's the same employees are working in that department. Nobody new was hired. Nothing was created to make the government bigger. We just took out of the name, and this will allow them to focus only on tourism and improve the area of our city. And that's one of our priorities as council the last 2.5 years. We have already had for years a human resource department. We have a director for that. We have an IT director for the IT department. We have a public service director for the public service department, and we've had an assistant city administrator. All of those had never been put into the code of our municipal ordinance when they were never when we created those positions. So all we did last 2 weeks or whatever it was, we officially amended and put them in the municipal code. So please, citizens, nothing changed. We just did something that should have been done a long time ago. We amended our municipal code. So I just feel like I need to get that out there. I just couldn't believe it. But anyway, a couple announcements. Rain drove everything away last week, you know, the monsoon we had, but 3 things coming up. Arbor Day this Friday at 1 o'clock at Hammond's Ferry. That's still on. Saturday, Tinseltown through the downtown merchants, and Sunday, the Lions Christmas Parade. So all those are still on right now. The last 2 things is a number of us had the opportunity to go to our public safety Christmas gathering on Friday night. And I just want to let y'all know, citizens, I want to recognize some of the officers who got recognized at that, because we have got to continue to do the right job of publicizing the wonderful things our public safety are doing. And I want to announce it here. Officer of the Year was Joe Waldrop. Dispatcher of the Year, Jenna West. Firefighter of the Year, James Newman III. And top shooter was Brian Hall. We had 3 officers who have done a lot of community service. I mean, when they're off duty, they are literally giving back into the community through sports, through the schools. That's Tyrone Tripp, Katie Dorsey, and Joe Waldrop. Then we have two other recognitions. We had these officers all help save a life. They received the Life-Saving Award in 2 different shootings. Kevin Boozer, Brian Hall, Billy Holtman, Brendan Martin, Joe Waldrop, Jason Cunningham, Katie Dorsey, Michael Eubanks, Taylor Mode, and Alex Harmon. And then the last group received the Police Shield. That's Benjamin Hoffer, Mitch McBride, Kyle Golden, Niles Emiker, Andrew Harris, and Nicholas Smoke. I tell you, our public safety, they do things out there in the community, and we're blessed to have them. And I just wanted to make sure we recognize them. Last thing for everyone here, when you leave here, before you walk out that door, if you have not voted, when you go down the elevator and walk out, there's a bunch of wonderful pictures. Jamie, our city clerk, has done a wonderful job. We are in the Mayor's Youth Writing Contest. This is our 3rd year. And this year, the question, the art is from kindergarten from 1st through 4th grade, is what's their favorite ice cream, and we have a picture of the Pink Dipper. They have a sign of the Pink Dipper. So Jamie's really kicked it up this year. We have a big block. You can vote on a little piece of paper, stick it in there, but we're going to choose that. So if you have not voted, council, everybody out there, before you leave, please look for these. These are our kids in our elementary schools. The other thing that we'll be doing on December the, is it the 18th? Our next city council meeting, will be the Mayor's Writing Contest. And this year, the topic from 5th through 8th and 9th through 12th was, what do you enjoy most about North Augusta, and what would you add to the city that would make you enjoy it even more from your perspective as whatever grade you're in? So we got a lot to read, but we got a lot of great stuff. So again, when we talk about communication's not just for adults. It's trying to communicate with all our citizens at all ages. And so make sure you vote. So with that being said.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
I just have one alibi, if you wouldn't mind. The
Yeah.
Arbor Day is actually for December 7th, which is Thursday, at 1:15 p.m. at 130 Hammond's Ferry Road.
I'm glad you told me. I need to change my calendar.
And that is
So it's
not
Thursday.
Hammond's Ferry.
Yes.
It's
Right.
Thursday. Yeah, it is.
I thought
It's back
it was.
in that,
I thought it was a Hammond's Ferry soccer field. Didn't y'all tell me
oh,
that?
it is? Oh, it's Hammond's Ferry Road. Okay.
Yeah, it's not Hammond's Ferry. It's by the soccer fields, right?
Now, I don't think I had you go on the wrong date. I had you go the wrong location. All right, so it's Thursday at 1:30?
1:15, Mr. Mayor?
1:15.
At 130 Hammond's Ferry Road.
Oh, 1:30 is. Oh, okay. That's the soccer complex. Okay. Can I adjourn now? Okay. We stand adjourned. Thank you.